Hello team, and welcome to our monthly training on hazard communication. Course objectives. Anticipate what types of chemicals you may encounter in the workplace. Recognize the types of labels used to identify chemicals and their hazards. Interpret the information on safety data sheets, SDSs, and chemical labels. Understand how to control your exposure to hazardous materials. What is the Hazard Communication Standard? In the US, the Hazard Communication Standard, HAZCOM, also known as the Right to Know Law, is a federal regulation designed to protect workers from hazardous chemicals in the workplace. Whether you work in the US or in another country, it is important for you to know how to safely work with and around the chemicals associated with your job. Globally Harmonized System, GHS. What is the Globally Harmonized System, or GHS? GHS is a global standard for the classification and labeling of hazardous chemicals that was adopted by the United Nations in 2003. Along with GHS comes a standard look and feel for chemical labels, safety data sheets, SDS. GHS has been adopted and is in use by many countries in the world, including the US. Why use GHS or Globally Harmonized System? Improve quality and consistency of chemical information. Increase comprehension of hazards, improving worker safety. How hazard communication works. Chemical manufacturers and importers classify the hazards of chemicals they produce or import and prepare labels and safety data sheets based on the classifications. Then chemicals are shipped to employers by chemical manufacturers, importers, or distributors. Next, all the employers receive labeled containers and safety data sheets with shipped chemicals. All employers must prepare a written hazard communication program, including a list of hazardous chemicals in the workplace. Lastly, employers must ensure all containers of hazardous chemicals are labeled safely. Data sheets are maintained for all hazardous chemicals. Workers are trained on program elements, hazards and protective measures, etc. Employers must keep information up to date. What is a hazardous chemical? A hazardous chemical is a solid. Examples: paste, powder, or alloy. Also liquids including mists. Some examples are oil, paint, or solvent. Gas including vapor or fumes. Example of this would be compressed nitrogen, which under normal conditions of use can cause physical or health hazard or release toxins into the environment. Physical hazards. Physical hazards associated with chemicals can cause an immediate danger. Here are some examples. Flammable materials can be aerosols, liquids, gases, or solids. They are defined as flammable based on their ability to flame under certain conditions. Examples include propane and acetone. Corrosive chemicals are strong acids or bases that may cause visible destruction of or irreversible alterations of materials, including living tissue. An example of an acid is sulfuric acid. An example of a base is chlorine bleach. Compressed gases can cause explosion due to their pressurized state. Inert gases can also displace oxygen, leading to asphyxiation hazards. Examples of compressed gases include nitrogen and helium. Oxidizers are materials that may initiate or promote combustion of other materials. They can cause exothermic reactions, which give off heat. Examples of oxidizers include hydrogen peroxide and oxygen. Reactive chemicals can be unstable or water reactive. When mixed with the wrong substance, they can create a violent reaction. Examples of reactive chemicals include lithium and sodium metal. Physical hazard pictograms. Under GHS, standard pictograms tell you which chemicals present a physical hazard. Some examples include reactive, flammable, oxidizer, compressed gas, and corrosive. Incompatible chemicals. Incompatible chemicals are materials that may cause a hazardous reaction if they were mixed, blended, or stored together. Examples of incompatible chemicals are flammables and oxidizers, acids and bases. Health hazards. Exposure to chemicals can also present a health hazard to humans. Examples of health hazards. Irritants are materials that cause temporary irritation of the eye, skin, or respiratory system. Examples are ammonia and fiberglass. Sensitizers are materials that may cause an allergic reaction in certain individuals after repeated exposure. Examples include latex rubber and nickel. Carcinogens are materials that are suspected or known to cause cancer. Examples include asbestos and cigarette smoke. Reproductive toxins are substances that may affect the reproductive system in either males or females. Examples include formaldehyde and mercury. Asphyxiants are substances that may cause suffocation. Examples include carbon monoxide and nitrogen. Acute toxins are poisonous substances that have immediate health effects from a single exposure. Examples include arsenic and hydrogen cyanide. In addition to presenting a physical hazard, corrosives also present a health hazard to the skin and eyes. Physical hazard pictograms. Under GHS, standard pictograms tell you which chemicals present a physical hazard. Some examples listed are irritant sensitizer, acute toxicity, warning. Acute toxicity, danger. Corrosive, carcinogen. Reproductive toxin, other serious. Now, let's discuss Safety Data Sheets or SDS. Safety Data Sheets or SDS. Chemical manufacturers, distributors, or importers are required to provide safety data sheets, SDSs, formerly MSDS or material safety data sheets, for each hazardous chemical to downstream users to communicate information on the chemical hazards. The information contained in the SDS is largely the same as the MSDS, except now the SDSs are required to be presented in a consistent, user-friendly 16-section format. Let's review each section of the SDS format. Section 1, Product Name and Company Information. Section 2, Hazards Identification. Section 3, Composition Ingredients. Section 4, First Aid Measures. Section 5, Firefighting Measures. Section 6, Accidental Release Measures. Section 7, Handling and Storage Requirements. Section 8, Exposure Controls and PPE. Section 9, Physical and Chemical Properties. Section 10, Stability and Reactivity. Section 11, Toxicological Information. Section 12, Ecological Information. Section 13, Disposal Considerations. Section 14, Transport Information. Section 15, Regulatory Information. Section 16, Other Information, such as revision history. SDS requirements. Each division is responsible for maintaining a copy of SDS for all the chemicals that are present on site. SDS should be made available in the event of an emergency or at the request of any coworker. Coworkers may not bring chemicals on site unless reviewed and approved by the Environment, Health and Safety Regional Manager, and the SDS has been filed with the division. Now let's review chemical labeling. Chemical labeling. All containers of chemicals require proper labeling. Adoption of GHS has led to a new standard for chemical labeling by manufacturers and distributors. Here are the required components of a proper chemical label. Product identifier, company information, hazard pictograms, signal word. Hazard statements and precautionary statements. Chemical labeling secondary containers. Hazardous chemicals may be transferred into smaller containers from bulk drums or other primary containers. These smaller containers are called secondary containers and must be designed to be used as such. Secondary containers must also be labeled with chemical name, hazards. It is the responsibility of the chemical user to ensure that all secondary chemical containers are properly labeled. Safe work practices. Good storage practices. Proper chemical storage practices include the following. Utilize proper storage cabinets. Ensure the storage cabinets and containers are properly labeled and readable. Ensure you segregate incompatible materials. No open containers in or combustible stored on flammable storage cabinets. Personal protective equipment or PPE. PPE is designed to protect you from workplace injuries or illnesses that could result from contact with chemical, physical, electrical, mechanical, or other workplace hazards. Examples of PPE are face shields, safety glasses, hard hats, safety shoes, goggles, coveralls, gloves, vests, earplugs, respirators. If you are required to wear PPE, you should be provided with specific training to ensure you use it properly. How to locate safety data sheets. Step 1. On Vibe, click on SharePoint sites. Step 2. Click on Environmental Health and Safety, EHS SharePoint. Step 3. Click on Safety Data Sheets, his platform. Thank you for participating in today's monthly training. For any questions, please reach out to your regional safety manager, as they will be glad to answer any questions you might have. Have a safe and productive day.